For years, my parents kept the sickening secret that my own brother had an affair with my wife, until the baby shower, when the gift I brought didn't just reveal the betrayal, but sparked an all-out eruption of chaos, exposing everything they tried to bury. I'm Ryan, and I've just been hit with the most astonishing revelation. But before diving into that, let me share a bit about my family. You see, I always sensed I wasn't the favored one. No one ever directly stated it, but you just feel it deep down. It's in the way your parents look at you compared to your sibling, how they speak to you, how they consistently choose them, in both the little things and the significant moments. My brother Liam was always the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, who received all the love and attention, while I observed from the sidelines. Growing up, it was clear, if Liam earned a good grade, it would be displayed on the wall. If I got a good grade, I'd receive a fleeting smile before they continued discussing Liam's accomplishments. I was his shadow. Yet, despite everything, I never truly disliked him. Of course, I resented the way my parents idolized him, but he was my brother, and I cared for him. At the time, it wasn't his fault that our parents treated us differently. I believed that would be sufficient, that even though things weren't fair in childhood, as adults, we'd find our footing, and our relationship would achieve balance. But I was mistaken, so terribly mistaken. 2 days ago, everything shattered. It was meant to be a joyous evening. My parents had invited us over for dinner to celebrate my wife's pregnancy. I was genuinely happy for them to host it. My wife and I had been trying for a while, and I knew how much it meant to her to begin, a family together. Plus, my brother's wife was there, so I went, despite the persistent knot in my stomach that always emerges when I'm around my family. It's a constant reminder that I'm insufficient, that I'm always second best compared to Liam. Bella, my wife, was by my side, as she had been for the past 5 years. She understood how complex my family relationships were and had always been. My anchor, the one person who made me feel acknowledged. Or so I believed. The dinner was fine, even normal. We were all gathered around the table, laughing and celebrating my wife's news. My parents, as anticipated, were beaming with pride, gushing about Bella's pregnancy, as if she had pioneered motherhood. But that no longer surprised me. I was content, pretending everything was fine. It was later, when I overheard my parents talking, that my entire world crumbled. After dinner, I excused myself to use the bathroom. On my way back, I passed by the kitchen and overheard my parents whispering. I should have kept walking, but something in their hushed tones compelled me to stop. And that's when I heard it. My mom was saying they would never tell me anything about Liam's mistake. At first, I was bewildered, wondering what mistake they were referring to. But then the answer struck me like a physical blow. They were discussing how Liam had slept with Bella, my wife. Apparently, it happened a few months ago, and they decided not to tell me to protect Liam, because he was their cherished boy and didn't deserve to have his reputation tainted. They called it a simple mistake, a lapse in judgment, something that should be forgiven because, according to them, the important thing was that he managed to get my wife pregnant. I stood there, frozen, unable to move, unable to breathe. The wall seemed to close in around me. My mind was overwhelmed with disbelief, betrayal, and fury. My wife, my partner, the woman I trusted with my life, was a deceiver, and with none other than my own brother. And worse, my parents knew. They had kept it a secret, choosing to protect Liam instead of telling me the truth. They chose him again, over me. It felt as though all those years of feeling less were somehow confirmed. They made their decision, and it wasn't me. I don't even recall how I departed that house that night. I vaguely remember mumbling something about not feeling well and needing to leave. I couldn't face them, not my parents, not Liam, and especially not Bella. So I just left, got in my car, and drove. But I don't remember where I went. I just needed to be away from them, away from the harsh reality of what I had just learned. It felt like my whole life was a cruel joke, like nothing made sense anymore, like I was plummeting into a void with no way to stop. It's been 2 days, and I still can't process it. I haven't confronted anyone. I've barely spoken to Bella since that night. She keeps asking me what's wrong, why I'm so distant, but I can't even look her in the eye, let alone talk to her. Every time I see her, all I can think about is her with him, my brother. How could she do this to me? How could he? And how could my parents conceal it as if it didn't matter? As if I didn't matter? I keep replaying the conversation in my mind, hearing my parents say Liam's mistake shouldn't ruin his life, that it was just a slip. But what about my life? My marriage? Does that not count? Do I not count? It feels like I've been erased, like I'm a secondary character in a story that should be mine, but somehow it's always about Liam. No matter what he does, no matter how much he hurts me, they will always protect him. And here I am, picking up the pieces, trying to figure out how to move forward when everything I thought I knew has been turned upside down. I genuinely don't know what to do. I don't know if I should confront Bella and demand the truth, or if I should talk to my parents and tell them how deeply they've wounded me. I don't know who to face first. I don't even know if I have the strength to face Liam. The thought of talking to him and hearing whatever excuse he might offer for betraying me makes my stomach churn. But I can't keep living like this, pretending everything is okay when it's not. I can't keep this secret inside, letting it poison every thought, every moment. Part of me wants to scream at them all, to tell them how much they've hurt me and how much they've destroyed. But another part just wants to leave, to walk away, and never look back. I don't know which part to heed. I don't even know if there's a correct choice here. All I know is that I feel completely shattered, and I don't know how to reassemble the fragments. I've spent my entire life feeling inadequate, like I don't matter, and now, after all this, it seems that's been confirmed. The fact that my wife had become pregnant by my brother, after we'd been trying for a while, and upon hearing this news, I don't even know if I am the father. My parents have made it clear that Liam will always be the priority, no matter what she does or who she harms. But where does that leave me? How do I proceed knowing that the people who should love and protect me have consistently chosen someone else? I have no answers. I wish I did. I wish I knew what to do, how to mend this, or at least how to move on. But right now, all I feel is overwhelming betrayal and pain, and I don't even know how to make it stop. That's why I'm here, truly, writing this post, hoping that someone, anyone, will tell me what to do because I feel like I'm crumbling, and I don't know how to halt it. I know that from the outside, it's easy to form an opinion, and that's what I'm seeking, but from the inside, it feels overwhelming. Update 1. A cold, sharp resolve. It's been more than 2 weeks since my initial post. I've had time to process, to feel, and to formulate a plan. At first, I was immobilized by the anguish, confusion, and betrayal. But now that numbness has dissipated, replaced by something cold, sharp, and far more potent. Initially, I thought confronting Bella, Liam, and my parents might offer some resolution. However, I've now decided on something entirely different. Yes, I will confront them, but not to shout, weep, or demand explanations. Instead, I want them to experience the same pain I've been submerged in. I want retribution. I'm going to exact the most thorough vengeance possible within legal boundaries. These past few days, I've been meticulous. I've been patient. They believe I know nothing, that I'm the second-rate son and husband who simply smiles and complies with everything. Let them continue to think that, because in the interim, I've been operating in silence, gathering evidence to corroborate everything I overheard that night. Betrayal always leaves traces, even when the betrayers think they've erased their tracks, and I'm determined to uncover every last detail they thought was concealed. First, let me tell you about the baby shower. Yes, there's a baby shower. A few days after my last post, my mother called me with her usual cheerful tone, pretending as if nothing had transpired, as if she hadn't been part of this monumental betrayal. She wanted to know if I'd organize my wife's baby shower. Since for my family, I'm essentially a servant, and of course, I'd be the one to handle it. Probably if the situation were reversed, she wouldn't ask my brother to organize this. Yes, she wanted me to celebrate the very person who destroyed my marriage and my life. The audacity left me speechless for a moment, but then it occurred to me to use this to my advantage. This could be the perfect opportunity to set the stage for what's to come. Of course, I agreed. I said yes, ensuring my voice didn't betray my true intentions in the slightest. She was so pleased, almost euphoric. Liam will be so happy, she said. I smiled over the phone, contemplating how thrilled Liam would be when he discovered what I had planned for him. But before making my move, I needed to accumulate as much as possible. I've become almost obsessive about unearthing every last secret, every message, and every piece of evidence illustrating precisely what they did to me. At night, while Bella sleeps, I go through her phone, her laptop, even her old backups. At first, I wasn't sure if I'd find anything. Perhaps they'd been clever enough to cover their tracks. But people always grow careless when they believe they have the upper hand. The first evidence appeared in the form of a hidden folder on her phone. She thought she was clever, naming it something innocuous, but I know better. Inside were photos, pictures of her with Liam, and it turns out, it wasn't just once, but an elaborate affair. Some photos seemed innocent at first glance, but others, well, let's just say they made it unequivocally clear what had transpired between them. My stomach churned as I looked at them, but I didn't stop. In the subsequent nights, I continued digging. Text messages, emails, old social media messages. I discovered conversations between Liam and Bella, some from months ago, discussing how careful they'd been to ensure I didn't find out. Their words hurt, but they also fueled me. They were so casual about it, as if I were nothing more than an obstacle in their path. But the true bombshell came when I found messages between my parents and Liam. My mother, in particular, had been actively assisting in keeping it all a secret. There were conversations about how Ryan didn't need to know, and about the importance of protecting Liam's image. Liam sent screenshots of these messages to Bella, assuring her that our parents were on their side, and that they didn't have to worry about me discovering anything. I felt ill reading it. They didn't care that I'm their own son. All they cared about was Liam's reputation. I've saved everything. Every photo, every message, every piece of evidence is now meticulously stored on my device. I've backed it all up, just in case. I'm not going to rush. I'm going to wait for the perfect moment to act, perhaps at the baby shower, perhaps afterward. But I'll make sure that when it all collapses, it collapses hard. They won't know what hit them. Update 2. The unveiling. It's been about a week since my last update, and there's so much I need to share, although I'm not sure where to begin. The events of yesterday feel like they unfolded in a dream, or perhaps a nightmare, depending on who you ask. I spent the day at the baby shower, playing the part of the perfect host while concealing the storm brewing within me. The facade was meticulously crafted. I was the supportive brother, the cheerful son, the compliant husband. Everyone was there. Family, friends, and Liam's wife, none of whom had any inkling of the storm about to be unleashed. The celebration itself was an elaborate affair, and my mother, unsurprisingly, was practically bursting with pride, ensuring everything was flawless for Golden Liam. My parents had no idea the real gift was coming, and it was for me, a gift that would shatter the carefully constructed world they had built. I was acutely aware of my racing heart. I could feel my pulse, not from excitement, but from the anticipation of the chaos about to unfold. As the day progressed, I engaged in light conversations, laughed at superficial jokes, and arranged the many baby gifts piled on the table. The entire time, I was intensely conscious of the ticking time bomb about to explode. I could see Liam enjoying the attention. His smile wouldn't last long, but the longer he thought he'd gotten away with it, the better for my vengeance. The moment arrived when my wife cut the cake. Everyone applauded and congratulated her, and I felt my pulse quicken even more as I prepared to present my wife with her special gift. Then I called Liam, and I told everyone it came from the heart, but deep down, I knew it stemmed from the depths of my pain. Then I stood up to address everyone, and the noise in the room subsided. Bella looked at me with a bright smile, visibly excited as she reached for the beautifully wrapped box. I had put effort into the presentation, exquisite paper, a luxurious bow, all designed to create a sense of anticipation and make it seem like a very important gift, which it was. Everyone gathered around Bella, getting a closer look as she began to unwrap it. Inside were printed photos, shocking images of her and Liam in very compromising situations, intimate moments frozen in time, the kind of photos you wouldn't want your family to see. I had carefully chosen the most incriminating images, the ones that revealed their betrayal with undeniable clarity. Bella's expression shifted from excitement to confusion, and then to horror, as she processed the contents of the box. The atmosphere in the room changed as people grasped what was happening and the implications of the photos for everyone involved: Liam, me, and my wife. But I wasn't finished. As the murmurs began and people started asking questions of either Bella or me, I unveiled decorative curtains that displayed the same photos, enlarged and arranged in a striking format. The truth was now exposed for everyone to see, a gallery of betrayal, capturing the affair that had shattered my life. Bella's face turned pale, the blood draining from her cheeks, leaving her looking ghostly. Her hands trembled as she struggled to comprehend what was occurring. My parents instinctively attempted to intervene, but I wasn't going to let them silence me. I took a deep breath and let the words flow. I revealed the entire affair, detailing how they had helped cover it up and how they pretended everything was fine while Liam betrayed me with my wife. Liam's wife, completely shocked, stormed out of the room, yelling at him, calling him a traitor, and expressing disbelief at how he could have done all this. It was likely a similar expression and feeling to what I experienced when I discovered the entire ordeal. My parents were left speechless, unable to defend their golden child this time. The world they had so meticulously built around Liam was crumbling piece by piece as I unveiled the chaos he had orchestrated. Standing there in the midst of the crowd, I felt something strange, a sense of release washing over me. Some people approached me to offer comfort, but I didn't need any of that at the moment because I had done what needed to be done. So I took my belongings and left. Update 3. The aftermath. 2 weeks have passed since my last update, and I believe the dust has settled sufficiently to share the aftermath of my surprise at the baby shower and the fallout for everyone involved. In the betrayal, the night I revealed everything, I left the party as soon as I finished displaying the evidence. I didn't want to speak to anyone or face the reactions of those who had been my family until then. I didn't know what had transpired afterward until Liam's friend, well, now ex-friend, contacted me a few days later to ask me some questions. He, one of Liam's closest confidants, began the conversation in a tone ranging from disbelief to disgust. He informed me that after what I had exposed, he had realized Liam's true character. In his words, if Liam could cheat on his own brother with his wife, what guarantee did anyone have that he wouldn't do the same to him? The betrayal he witnessed at the party had left him with a profound sense of doubt, and he felt unable to continue his friendship with someone like that. During our conversation, he asked for advice on how to investigate his wife to ensure she wasn't hiding something similar. I advised him to thoroughly check her social media, text messages, and any conversations on her phone that might seem suspicious. I also made it clear that if he discovered anything significant, I'd be waiting for him to share it, as I know many of you would also want to know. But that wasn't all he told me. Apparently, after I left the party, the venue transformed into a full-blown battleground. Liam's wife's family was there, and once they understood the situation, a wave of shouting and accusations filled the air. Liam's wife's parents were as furious as they were disappointed, hurling harsh words and insults at him for what he had done. My father, with whatever dignity he had left, attempted to intervene to defend his son, claiming that Liam was hopeless and they shouldn't speak to him that way. But Liam's father-in-law wasn't holding back, retorting that their dear son was nothing but a harlot of Babylon. Let's just say he used a much cruder term. That comment struck my father like a dagger, and he charged at Liam's father-in-law, intending to settle things physically. It didn't go well for him. Liam's father-in-law landed a single punch that sent him to the ground. He didn't lose consciousness, but stayed on the floor, either from humiliation or fear of receiving another blow. And it wasn't just the men willing to fight. Liam's mother-in-law, enraged by everything that had happened, began insulting my mother, who didn't hold back either, calling Liam's father-in-law a gorilla for hitting her husband. This provoked the other woman to lunge at her. The scene was brutal. I heard Liam's mother-in-law pulled my mother's hair so hard, she had to be separated by others. My mother ended up losing a chunk of hair, and someone even joked that she might want to start considering a wig. Some guests tried to stop the fight, managing to calm things down before it escalated further. I admit that deep down, I feel a twinge of regret for not staying at the party to witness the fallout of my gift. It's akin to the feeling you get when you miss school on the most eventful day of the year. But despite the curiosity, I know it was for the best. I left to maintain my own peace of mind and avoid getting caught in the shame and chaos. Surprisingly, Liam emerged from the situation physically unharmed. Not because he didn't deserve it, but because he's the golden child. He's perfect, and everyone present, even the most furious, had enough self-control not to harm him physically. Although there's a high chance the baby my wife is expecting is his, it's not the child's fault that their father was such a deceitful and treacherous person. As for my wife, or rather, soon-to-be ex-wife, things have progressed quite a bit. I delivered the divorce papers to her as soon as I could get them processed. She didn't get punched during the party because I think she had enough sense to stay silent and try to make herself invisible among the crowd. She remained quiet, head down, as if trying to go unnoticed. Apparently, this strategy worked, as she avoided the punch from Liam's father-in-law, a punch she deserved more than anyone else, especially since his father-in-law was so willing to throw one. Later, when she got home, she found all her belongings thrown out on the lawn. I hadn't left a single thing of hers inside. Everything was on the grass, waiting for her to get the message. She didn't say a word or knock on the door to talk to me. She simply collected her things and left. At least, she understood the hint, and now we're waiting to see what happens with the house once the divorce is finalized. In the past 2 weeks, neither my brother nor my family has attempted to contact me, neither to apologize nor to lash out at me, which doesn't surprise me. Even though I was the one most affected by all this, apart from my father's humiliation. In this situation, they don't have enough shame or remorse to reach out and apologize. This confirms what I've always suspected. To them, Liam will always be the priority, no matter what. This betrayal and public humiliation, while catastrophic, doesn't seem to be enough to make them reflect. I've spent my whole life trying to find a place in my family, seeking to be seen and valued, but these events have shown me that it will never happen. No matter how much they hurt me or betray my trust, I'll always be the son they can overlook. Update 4. A punch, a paternity test, and persistent chaos. I love that saying. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, and that's exactly what happened to my ex-wife. But let me not jump ahead and share how things have unfolded over the last few months. It turns out that Liam's now ex-friend, whom I assisted with his investigation, discovered that his wife was also cheating on him with my brother. As you can imagine, he confronted her immediately. During the argument, the friend mentioned that my ex was also involved in this whole mess. What did his wife do? Without saying a word, she went straight to my brother's house, where he was living with my ex, because they believed the baby my wife was expecting was my brother's. What happened next was the best part. The woman punched my ex directly in the face. So even though she managed to avoid a punch at the party, she finally got what she deserved. Obviously, my ex has decided to sue her over the punch because she was pregnant, and as always, Liam couldn't do anything but watch what was happening. Though I'm not sure what has occurred with that legal matter, and honestly, I'm not too interested. As for my brother's wife, she moved out as soon as she found out about the whole situation and immediately filed for divorce. That divorce hasn't been finalized yet, probably because my ex is involved, and those processes tend to take longer. My own divorce, on the other hand, was completed about a month ago. For those wondering about assets, the house we shared was sold, and we split the money evenly. Neither of us has to pay spousal support, and since there were no children, the process was simpler. I think the fact that my divorce was resolved quickly only made the chaos surrounding my brothers seem even more endless and messy. Going back to my ex-wife, after receiving that punch to the face, she also endured an emotional blow upon learning that she had been cheated on. In an ironic twist of fate, she decided to move out of my brother's house as well, unable to bear the idea that he might have cheated on her. This part makes me laugh, though it also makes me ponder the logic behind infidelity and people like them. How can someone so willing to cheat on their partner with another person now feel hurt because that person cheated on them? Perhaps I don't grasp jealousy in that situation, because fortunately, I'm a decent person and I've never felt the urge to betray someone in such a way. The hypocrisy in her is so evident, it's almost comical. But the situation doesn't end there, because now comes the unexpected twist. My ex-wife's baby has been born, and as you'd imagine, a DNA test was done immediately. It turns out I was not the father. The baby is Liam's child. What surprises me is that despite this man being the father, there could very well have been another candidate. Knowing my brother and seeing how he's handled himself during all of this, it wouldn't surprise me if there were more contenders. In the paternity matter, honestly, given who my parents and brother are, this doesn't seem strange at all for them. This is just another Tuesday. The level of chaos and drama they live with is so routine that they barely seem to care about how absurd the situation is. And no, neither my parents nor my brother have attempted to contact me since. But this time, and just this once, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and think that maybe it's not that they don't care about me as a son or brother. They're probably just too busy dealing with the disaster they've created themselves. Update 5. Sarcasm and settling dust first. Let me clarify something, because it seems some people didn't catch the sarcasm in my last update. When I said I gave my family the benefit of the doubt, I was being sarcastic. No, I don't think they've ever truly cared. And even if there hadn't been a scandal of this magnitude, they still wouldn't have bothered to reach out. Moving on to the update, my brother has ended up moving back into our parents' house. Why? Well, the biological mother of his baby decided not to stay with him. And while she's been unfaithful, I understand her decision. Staying with someone as untrustworthy as my brother sounds more like a punishment than a reward. So, alone and with a baby, he returned to the only place where he seems to still be welcomed with open arms, our parents' house. As for my brother's divorce, it concluded favorably for my ex-sister-in-law. The house they shared was sold, and she doesn't have to pay either child support or spousal support. I think this was the best-case scenario for her. Now she can walk away from this whole mess without any financial or personal ties to my brother. It's like life gave her a one-way ticket out, and I can't imagine a better ending for her. Liam's ex-friend has also finalized his divorce, and in terms of peace and counterpunches, it seems things have settled down. Although with everything that has happened, it's clear that many people in this story are still deserving of another punch. For now, the physical dramas have ceased, but the memories will remain engraved in the minds of everyone involved, and some on their faces. I hope this rephrased version captures the essence of your original script while offering a fresh perspective with alternative phrasing. Let me know if you'd like any other adjustments.